Welcome back, boys and girls. This is Module 2, Lesson 2. You already completed Parts 1 and 2. We're moving on to Part 3, which is going to be relating our number line to a clock and doing the problem set for Lesson 2 together. So you will want to get out your Lesson 2 template right up here. You're going to want the Lesson 2 template 2 with the clocks for Part 3. And then you're also going to want to have handy your lesson 2 problem set problems that we're going to do together. So here we are relating our number line that we drew to the clock and telling time to the nearest 5 minutes. So when we look at a clock, boys and girls, and we think about our number line, when we started counting on our number line, we labeled 0. I do not see a 0 on our clock. A 0 on a clock is actually 0 minutes is at the 12, okay? And then in between each number is 5 minutes. So right there would be 5 minutes. If we go another to the next number, that would be 10 minutes. The next one, 15 minutes. So 3 intervals on a clock is equal to 15 minutes. And we can keep going around and labeling these 5-minute intervals. We're labeling just like we did on the number line. So it's the number 6, that's 30 minutes. Then we have 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and then we're back to 60 minutes or 0 minutes, depending on if we're ending the hour or starting an hour, okay? The numbers on the clock tell us the hour of the day that it is, okay? So, for example, let's pretend that we are trying to find and show the time 9:15 a.m. Let's pretend that's the time that we start school. So 9:15, there's 2 hands on a clock. There's a short hand, which shows the hours, and then there's a long hand that shows the minutes. So I'm going to point my short hand to the 9 because it's 9, the hour is 9. And 15 minutes. I'm going to count 0, 5, 10, 15. So my minute hand, the long one, is going to point to 15 minutes. Okay? Let's try another one. How about 3:30 p.m.? And the a.m. and p.m. tells us if it's the morning or the afternoon and evening. So 3:30. 30 minutes is going to be right down here at the 6. That's 30 minutes. And since it's halfway, 30, it's halfway around the clock, my hour hand is going to be halfway in between the 3 and the 4. Let me change my colors here so that you can see a little bit better. Let's try 7:50 a.m. So my minute hand, the long one, is at 50 minutes. Well, if this is 30, 6 is 30, let's keep counting by 5s from 30. 35, 40, 45, 50. So that's 50 minutes. My minute hand is going to go to the 10, and it's after the 7 o'clock hour, so my hour hand goes past the 7. 7:50. Let's go ahead and do lesson 2 problem set together. It's very important, boys and girls, that even if you're not reading the problems with me, I want you to try to read them after I read them so that you get practice doing that, because we have to be able to read our math problems. So number 1, follow the directions. My pen's not working. Follow the directions to label the number line below. and I'm going to change. Letter A. Read with me. Ingrid. Sorry, I don't know why my pen is not working. Ingrid gets ready for school between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. Label the first and last tick mark as 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. Really don't know why this isn't working, boys and girls, sorry. So Ingrid gets ready for school between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. So we're going to mark the first tick mark as 7 a.m. and the last one as 8 a.m. We're talking about time between the hours of 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. Letter B. Each interval represents 5 minutes. Count by 5 starting at 0 or 7 a.m. Label each 5-minute interval below the number line up to 8 a.m. So we're going to label, this is 0, 7 a.m. would be 0 minutes. Then we have 5 minutes, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and 60 when we get to 8 a.m. Go ahead and stop the video anytime you need to make sure that your paper looks like my paper. Now we're going to go on to letter C. Letter C says, Ingrid starts getting dressed at 7:10 a.m. Plot a point on the number line to represent this time. Above the point, write D. So she's getting dressed at 7:10 a.m. So we start at 7 and we go 5, 10. So above that point, we're going to put a point at 7:10 and we're going to put D because she starts getting dressed at that time. Ingrid starts eating breakfast at 7:35 a.m. Plot a point on the number line to represent this time. Above the point, write E. So Ingrid starts eating breakfast at 7:35. So here's 7. We want to go all the way to 35. And that's what time she starts eating breakfast, so we mark it with an E. Starts brushing her teeth at 7:40 a.m. Plot a point on the number line to represent this time. Above the point, write T. Remember, boys and girls, plotting a point means that we're drawing that point on the number line. Plotting means we're putting it there. So she starts brushing her teeth at 7:40. So here's 7 o'clock. Plus 40 minutes would be right here, and we're marking that with a T for teeth. Letter F. Ingrid starts packing her lunch at 7:45 a.m. Plot a point on the number line to represent this time. Above the point, write L. So 7:45, 7 o'clock, plus 45 minutes puts us right there. We're going to write L for lunch. Letter D. Ingrid starts waiting for the bus at 7:55 a.m. Plot a point on the number line to represent this time. Above the point, write W. Stop the video and do that now, and then come back and check your work. So I'm going to put my point for 7:55 right there, and I'm going to write W because she's waiting. Is that what you did? Outstanding. Let's go to number 2 on the problem set. So label, the directions here say label every 5 minutes below the number line shown, just like we have been doing. And then draw a line from each clock to the point on the number line which shows its time. Not all of the clocks have matching points. So we're at 0 here, 5, 10, just like we have been doing. I know it seems repetitive, but it's going to help you in the long run. So label every 5 minutes. And then we get to 60. And we're looking at times in between 5 o'clock p.m. and 6 o'clock p.m. So that tells me that I'm not going to mark on here any time that isn't between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock. So let's look at the first time. It says 8:35. Does the hour of 8 come in between 5 and 6? It does not. So we're not going to match that with anything. The next clock, when I look at the short hour hand and I follow it out, it's right in between 5 and 6. So is this 5 o'clock and some minutes? It is. So it's 5 o'clock and it goes to the 10. So if I count around the clock, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, that is 5:50, and I'm going to draw a line and match it. Next, we have the hour of 5 plus 15 minutes. Well, that's after 5 o'clock. So 5 plus 15 minutes goes right there. So I'm going to match that clock. Now the next one we have, if we follow this out, it's right after the 6 o'clock hour, and it's at the 2, which is 10 minutes. So 6:10. Does that fall between 5 o'clock and the start of 6 o'clock? It does not. 6 plus 10 more minutes is after the 6 o'clock hour. So we are not marking that. Next, we have the 5 o'clock plus 40 minutes, 5:40. That comes between 5 and 6 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock plus 40 minutes. I'm going to draw it right there. Next, our little hour hand looks like it's coming right in between 5 and 6. So it falls in between our 5 and 6 hour on our timeline. And if we count to the 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, we do 5 o'clock plus 25 minutes. There is our time for that. Let's take a look at number 3. Noah uses a number line to locate 5:45 p.m. Each interval is 5 minutes. The number line shows the hour from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Label the number line below to show his work. So he's using 5-minute intervals, and he wants to locate 5:45. So 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. This is 5:45 p.m. Number 4. Tanner tells his little brother that 11:25 p.m. comes after 11:20 a.m. Do you agree with Tanner? Why or why not? I agree with Tanner. PM means, so I agree with him. Boys and girls, keep this problem set handy to use as a guide when you're doing your homework and your exit ticket for me.